All right, what's up, guys? Take two. Welcome to the video. Got about halfway through casting this replay for you guys before realizing that I had OBS set on the wrong scene, which has become a bit of a running joke on the stream as I've been doing that a lot lately. So personal aside as we get into it, the reason for that there's been a bit less content lately is we just welcomed a third baby to our home. So trying to get back into the swing of things, making stuff as we're getting more into the routine here with the larger family at home. So what we're going to do here in this game, we're going to review a replay of mine. I played this last week here against Sam on the ladder. All right, so let's go. MegaRandom. I'm playing as the Britons here. There we go. So we start with two scouts here in this one, so housed right off the bat. So I realized that grab loom right away. My opponent in the blue, Sam playing as the Goths, didn't realize as quickly, but Goths get loom immediately. So the bonus helping out there, preventing any idle TC. As you will see, he's got 25 seconds of it compared to my 2, but because of that bonus, it's not actually, I'm not a villager ahead already, despite that 25 seconds, because he was able to get loom instantly. We're both 4-4 in villagers. So sometimes on MegaRandom, you got to watch out for that. If you get an extra villager, extra scout, you can't actually queue up the villagers immediately as you would want to do. So over here in the blue, I was a bit hesitant or nervous, anxious, maybe coming into this matchup just because of the civs, as I've got us rated both here at 1600 on the scoreboard up at the top, as that currently on the ladder we're both right around 1600. Sam was actually about 1700 when we played this. And the Britons can struggle sometimes against the Goths, as the Britons, their strengths all ranged units, the faster production, the longbow, better range. But all that's a bit thwarted by the Huskarl, which of course is what the Goth players often want to, at least by the late game, get into that flood of Huskarls from the barracks there with Anarchy and Profusion. But that would be a typical game. So why I'm sharing this with you is it's not quite a typical game. This goes a bit differently. Ends up kind of being a wild mid-game as we get to that point. So look at how far Sam is wandering out here. This is the only wood line. Actually, no, he's found 3. He's actually found all the wood. On my side, at this point, I have not found all the wood. So I've found just this forward wood line. I guess I have seen this little bit, but I'm not sure that that's a big area or just one of these little straggler reeds. As I lose my scout to the TC while trying to push the deer with this other scout. So multitasking on controller, not the easiest. But here we go, trying to push the deer. And the deer's gonna go back. So it doesn't look like it came through in the replay here, but I was, while the deer was going back, busy typing the 24 taunt in chat as I lost my scout. But Sam with a nice, safe backwood line here. Still far away from the TC, but could very easily wall up that and have that be protected. And this is thick enough that it would even be difficult to range over the back of it. Maybe over the corner, but could also just relocate the lumberjacks over here. So far, a better, more defensible wood line for Sam, who does have a stuck villager there, unfortunately, in the middle. So sometimes splitting these guys up so that there's 2 on one side, 1 on the other can help alleviate that, but pathing is pathing. Sometimes, see, even this guy made a return trip and his amigo here is still actually stuck. And so I'm ahead actually now by a couple villagers, and you can see I wasn't sure if the difference in resources was just because of this. And here's our first attack. Sam over here with the 2 scouts, a good play with those to try to get some pressure with the scouts, even in the Dark Age. As the scouts are pretty weak in the Dark Age, as they get a free upgrade when you reach Feudal, but having 2 of them, you can usually get a villager pick. This generation where we started with the extra scout, you end up with loom right away. So the villagers a little bit stronger than 2 scouts against unloomed villagers obviously would be more effective, but we trade there, lose the scout, lose the villager, and then I react after the fact with some small walls there around the wood. So Sam ahead in kills by 1 as I lost my scout to the TC, and then we traded scout for villager there on the wood line. So I decided to just mill this deer after the mishap earlier, and we didn't get any aggressive hunt here. We have a double deer patch and not any boars, elephants, rhinos. So I've just got the mill out here because there's not actually any berries either. And I'm going to split some of these guys off here to take a few deer at the same time. So sets of 4 is the ideal amount to eat the deer in one trip. Don't have a gather point right now either, and my idle TC creeping up a bit, still ahead in that regard, though 17 seconds to 117 for my opponent, as I decide to go for a second deer mill over here on this side of the world. And so Sam knows where my lumber is, still hasn't actually found where I'm taking any other resources, has made like a wide loop around. I assume suspects my TC is here, but hasn't seen where I'm taking the deer or even actually found my gold at this point. So checking over here on this side, what have I scouted? I haven't found his wood there on the back. And later, he ends up taking wood here, actually on the same side of almost like a little mini oasis where we're both chopping on the same massive trees in the center. Or Crossroads is kind of the map with the circles of wood in the center. Either way, I at the time thought that was weird and getting revenge here with the scout, and Sam just hits the TC. Full commit there as realizing that the scout is going to go down. Sam ends up building a lumber camp over here in a bit. Interesting that we're both sharing this, as this wood line is pretty much centered between us on the map, as I had not found any of these yet at the time that I needed to place a lumber camp at the beginning. So his generation here on this side with the 2 deer patches next to each other stays on the 1 mill here. And I see that he's taking the deer, decide not to harass as I've just got the 1 scout rather than 2, as we're both on the way to Feudal now, and I'm 2 villagers ahead though. Big difference in idle time, 2 minutes there. So starting to farm already, have located some more wood here on the back. That one is actually even further away from my TC, so I'm not sure that it's actually any safer, even though it's on the backside, because it's so far away. So a bit of a rough map, as no berries, no hunt, super far off wood. And a pretty standard amount of stone and gold, a little bit more than usual, as it seems like we have 2 big piles each, not a big and a small. Sam's starting to wall up here as we're about to reach the next age. So the gold miners are protected here. Little circular wall around those guys. Though not enough of a wall to protect from the range from archers, so playing against the Britons maybe would have wanted to give that a wider berth, as this doesn't necessarily do that much for you. It would protect from scouts, but not from archers that you'd expect to see in this matchup facing against the Britons. But Sam also going to open archers, dropping a range immediately after reaching the Feudal Age. So still has 2 deer left on his side, and looks like I'm on my last deer over here. And we've both got 3 villagers on gold at this point, my range going up a bit after his, even though I did reach the next stage a few seconds earlier. And on this side, learning from my mistake at the beginning of the game, I'm going to wall this one up preemptively here. So Sam following up the range with a market. Interesting to not see the blacksmith right away with the range. Usually you see 2 ranges right away, or the range and the blacksmith, and then a second range following that up. Sometimes you can stay on the 1 range. And producing a spearman. So hasn't scouted a stable from me, hasn't actually scouted any buildings from me. Well, I guess he doesn't have either of his scouts. Oh yeah, so he lost 1 to my TC and 1 to the villager here. So Sam doesn't know what's coming and decides to make a spearman despite playing into the Britons, but is also making skirmishers. So wanting to open full trash here, have a counter for everything. As here I am taking a look around. So I haven't seen his range either. It's right there perfectly in this little black spot where I have not scouted yet. I did see the barracks, so I know something is up. Now this map's super open. Obviously you'd expect some sort of feudal opening, but on MegaRandom sometimes players go for fast castle a little bit more brazenly than they otherwise would. Ready. So I've got some archers out, got some spearmen. So I also similarly guessed spearmen, as I saw he had a barracks and couldn't find another production building, and figured it won't hurt to have some spears, as he attacked with the starting scouts earlier. Might be some more scouts on the way. So I've got 3 spearmen out, he's got 2. I'm spreading these guys out, so 1 over here to protect this wood, 1 over here by the gold, And where's the third one? Also over here by the gold. And then walling this way towards the TC from my wood line. And gonna move out here with 5 archers as fletching comes in. Sam does have 3 skirms in this range though. And just attack move over here into the house. Like, knock, knock, bro, I'm here. Skirms pop out before I'm able to get any harassment in on the villagers. He doesn't have armor yet on the skirms. Does get a kill as I retreat to bring my scout over to help fight this. So on controller, if you don't know, you can use left trigger and the D-pad to select different types of units. So LT and down grabs the scout, LT and right will grab the archers. So that's what I'm doing here, using the scout to target the skirms, pulling him away from the spearmen. And so that micro pays off with the shortcuts there. Keep the scout alive. Only lose 2 archers there in that engagement. Started with 5, have, well, 2.5 left now. Third one goes down as another skirm pops out of the range. Something Sam could be doing a bit better there is keeping the gather point back in the archery range. Had he waited for more skirms, might not have lost as many of those, trickling them out into the fight. And there we go. He knows what he's doing there, just a bit late there. As we're both making a few mistakes here and there as we go. And my idle TC has shot up a bit as we've reached the next age here. I was just at 17 seconds previously and am now at 2 minutes. So Sam is ahead on farms, it looks like, at this point, with 14 here as my archers run into some skirmishers and then flee from the AI army here defending. So I've just got 8 farms compared to the 14 on Sam's side. I still am ahead by 2 villagers from that idle TC in the Dark Age. That amount hasn't changed. And I haven't found his wood here on the back. So I'm gonna have a gather point set in this area as I've lost a stray archer. Kind of a opposite how I was commenting that the skirms popping out here into danger on this side, then I'm doing the same thing, sending not even just skirmishers, but gold units there to their death on the backside of Sam's base. I'm getting some harassment now on the stone as the AI army makes it this way to try to push me off. Villagers even joining the party as Sam's on his way up to the next age now. KD pretty even though, 10 to 10 after I lose my archers here to the AI army defense. So I've just about got my resources to also head up to the next age, but Sam being the Goths, here we go. Not adding in a second barracks, but is grabbing men-at-arms. So up to 18 farms on my side now, and up to the Castle Age now for me also. So still working on some walls. Not fully walled at this point, as Sam's going to go for the counterattack here with some men-at-arms, some skirms, and some spearmen. Sees the market, going to head back as I'm just grabbing some upgrades as I'm on my way up to the next age. And going to attack the palisade here, and I don't actually react to this right away. I do, actually. I thought I remembered not reacting to this and taking some losses here, so I guess this went a little bit better than I thought it did in-game. Interesting sometimes how the reality of what's really happening, it can be totally like better or worse than what you thought was happening as you're trying to deal with everything else that's going on. So I'm still a minute away from the Castle Age here. Sam pressuring with what's left of his Feudal Age army and producing some knights at home. So 1 kill here from this raid there on the wood line. Does a trade for a spearman though. A second villager kill there. So Eco KD is now 3-0 in Sam's favor. So despite the good micro that I was talking about earlier, winning the fight over the skirmisher army, my raid not super effective as my idle time was worse through Feudal Age and didn't actually get a villager kill. Sam, though, does walk into the TC here, and I get a tower up to defend my gold. So for the moment, crisis averted. But with that pressure, those kills, Sam is actually ahead now by 1, 38 to 39 in villagers. We have the same size army, though, at this point. So forward house, and immediately goes for the castle drop here as we've both reached the next age. And so I see that, don't react yet. So still trying to play into crossbow here as the Britons, as we haven't seen any Huskarls yet from the Goths as the castle just now going up. But I'm going to make a monastery as I see the knights over there. So at this point in the game, I was feeling like, oh man, things had been going pretty good in my perception in-game. They were going better than watching the replay that they actually are. Just thinking like, oh man, a castle drop is going to ruin everything. But from this point, this is where the game gets a bit messy. I know I teased that a bit at the start, that the Feudal Age was going to be pretty standard. And from this point forward, the game is a little bit more wild. So castle ranges. Some of my gold here is going to shoot the tower down. And the knights looping around here. And not ready to dive into the TC, and now they are. Only the Feudal Age upgrades on the knights so far. If I pull the villagers away, send the crossbows over. No kills on those guys yet. Fourth knight coming over. And looks like my crossbows wandered into the castle fire, trying to pull those back. So despite the pressure here, I still actually am ahead in resources right now by about 1,000. As the knights come in to raid under the mill. And it looks like they will get a kill here. And no reaction from me with the monk. I am trying to get these villagers away from the castle, send these guys over for a counterattack. So knights getting some value now as they got in while my attention is elsewhere. So here's some of the dueling lumber camps. This guy just pathed this way trying to avoid the damage. Eventually goes down to the skirmishers, and things looking pretty rough for me right now. This castle drop really swung the game, as I at least do get a conversion on the knight, and my crossbows arrive to grab a couple kills. Well, one kill. Eco KD is now 1 to 14. As I'm able to get one kill over here on the gold. Should get a second one. Sending the knights over. Skirms still don't have any armor. So we got elite skirm, but not any of the archer armor. Archer armor on skirmishers makes a huge difference. So 4 pierce armor to start off with. But the crossbowman doing 7 attack at the moment. So still taking 3 damage per hit. So getting the +2 armor would reduce that down to 1, making it the skirmisher take 3 times, or twice, yeah, 3 times as many shots. Either way, I ass load more shots. The survivability, the tankiness goes way up with the armor on the skirmishers, as microing here with the crossbows going to kill all the knights and retreat from the skirms. So Sam's still way ahead in kills, even though I got a good trade there, killing all of his knights. Gonna have to retreat here. And he's actually going to chase me over to his wood. So I had not found this vulnerable area of his base so far to this point in the game until the skirmishers actually pushed me over here. And so 2 for 1 on the misplay here is the skirms don't have armor. And I knew that and had the hill and decided to just fight them here at this point. You see the skirms just melting to the crossbows. And then now free villager picks, but no ballistics. So 1 villager goes down, checking back in over here on this side. I've lost this wood line entirely. Still trying to take gold where the castle doesn't quite range that. And making a couple more monks, grabbing some monk upgrades, adding in a second TC now. Sam up to 3 TCs. So still holding the hill here, getting some good value out of these crossbows, as here come the husks. See how much better the Huskarl took so many more shots than the skirmisher did theirs. What's the pierce armor on these guys if I can click one? So 6, so 2 more. So just as if the skirmisher had grabbed their 2 upgrades. The Komodo dragon coming over here to help out, trying to get a little bit of value out of my weak scout. Got a couple thwacks in there on that Huskarl. As I'm trying to retreat here from these 2 husks, taking some damage on this side as well. So Castle continuing to chip away at the buildings under its range, and I'm thinking about now adding in some knights of my own to deal with Huskarls. So for the moment, peace in Sam's base as he's pushed me away. So got a mangonel out to defend, still trying to work on some walls, is open through here. Does have some foundations there though. And so big eco lead right now for Sam, 54 to 44. So ahead by 10 villagers, has the larger army as well, and has evened things up in resources collected. I was ahead by about 1,000 last time we checked in on that, and am now slightly behind by a few hundred, as I do get a conversion, at least on a Huskarl there. So monks starting to pay off. Unfortunately here in Capture Age, we don't get the sick lightning mod. The I think that was from Return of Rome. They did a monk conversion. Lightning Smite is my favorite mod, actually, the cosmetics of the official ones that they've added to the game. So 2 more conversions come in. If you want to know more about Monk Micro on a controller, I've got a video about that covering the best shortcuts and techniques to get more conversions with your monks, as my monks get shredded while I'm plugging my video there. Do get another conversion in the fight. A bit late on the garrison though. You can put monks inside of the TC. You can even shift queue them. Had I done that a bit more preemptively there, could have maybe kept those guys alive, got another batch of conversions. Did at least get one. Getting one conversion on a gold unit with a monk usually makes it worth it, because not only are you effectively getting a kill, but then you get a free unit also. So got the 3 knights out here trying to focus down the mangonel, so I'm going to dive under the castle fire to snipe the siege and retreat. So the monks and knights, for the moment, able to hold off the pressure a bit, as Sam's not going to dive in further at this point, still continuing to just chip away at what is protected by the castle fire. So he doesn't have fletching yet for the castle, something that would have made a big difference here, as I try to dive in with the knights. There was maybe more husks than I had thought there were. Oh, I'm just trying to bait them back to the TC, because yeah, he was trying to pull me into the castle fire a couple times, and I was just thinking, hey, 2 could play at that game and try to bait the Huskarls back towards the monks and the town center fire with my knights there, as I do have Bodkin for the TC. And finally sending a small counterattack back over here to where I had found some value before, but there's actually a TC here now. So I'm going to kill one villager. Sam doesn't actually garrison into the TC. Kill a skirm as well. I look back this way, realize I'm standing under a town center, and send my little raiding party off. And Sam thinking about a forward town center, or excuse me, that's my town center. So Sam adding in another forward castle as I try to go for my 3rd TC a bit further away. So I have not scouted that there's these resources further away on the edges. I did see the stone here and thought that would make a good TC spot on the wood and the stone. As targeting 3 more husks, get 3 more conversions, let's go. And this time I'm on top of it after taking some losses earlier, have the monks shifting right back into that TC. So got 2 husks and a pikeman, saved all the monks. Castle does complete though, and I'm still kind of in a rough spot, still behind by 10 in eco. Do have the larger army at this point as the conversions continue to come in, and Sam wants to target my archery range now. I'm not actually doing much with the range at this point. I had the 3 crossbowmen, well 2, I guess sent back. Oh, you know what I did? I used that range unit shortcut to send that skirmisher somewhere and got the crossbows from over here, sending with them. As we're going to raid now with some knights, as I also don't have full upgrades on these, as I was not wanting to commit fully into the knights. I wanted to just use the utility of them to take care of any mangonels and huskarls, but still play mostly into ranged units as the Britons. So these raiding party here has 6 kills so far. Eco KD pretty well evened up, 15 to 16 now, as I'm able to get in here and find some damage. So my base still an absolute mess, still trying to get some conversions over here defending at home. And they still do keep coming in as the knights clear up all the villagers on this wood line. 9 kills for these guys. So Mangonel coming in here trying to eat TC. And the Britons, I don't believe, get redemption. I think I tried to get that here, as I actually lost my monastery. I built another 1 or 2 over here. I think to try to get redemption, realize that I don't, and that pisses me off, and I give up on monks at that point, is I think what happens. But so I'm using the converted husks here to just chip away at the base of the castle, just to be annoying, I guess. Could have got maybe some more value out of these, sending them into the wood, which I do see. I realize that he's been taking my wood there. I think he's actually taken more of it than I did, given that that wood is in the middle. But knights back to work over here on this side of the world after letting them shred the wood line. Now diving them into the main eco. Sam does have fletching now. I don't have +2 yet on the knights, raiding under the TC. Still 15 kills on these guys, though, as Sam's adding in some pikes to try to deal with those. Does have the +1 matching set of upgrades on the pikes as to what I have on the knights. 19 kills, though, on these guys. As I've reestablished a little bit of eco, some farming, some wood, some stone, I'm thinking about my own castle now. Finally, Sam dropped a castle immediately as soon as we got to the castle age, and I'm just now thinking about taking stone after trying to deal with the pressure with my monk defense, which went pretty okay. I got a lot of conversions, but was still not able to reclaim my gold or really save my eco, just having to abandon ship. Still getting finally some good value here out of the knights, and with all the kills with the knight raid, have taken the eco lead back again. I was behind in villagers for most of the game through the mid game there, as the pressure coming in with the castle drop from Sam really disrupting my eco pretty extremely. I've been doing better in idle TC, though, through most of the game. I have had less of them. However, Sam was more prompt in getting the TCs up. Resources collected were pretty close again, both at about 24,000, as I'm trying to escape with the knights, end up taking a rough fight here, getting cornered by the pikemen and losing my army. They're bunched up against the reeds. And there we go, now raiding. This is my wood, bro, get out of here. Looks like killed me a trebuchet there too, or that was a earlier lumber camp. As Sam is in the Imperial Age, I am not yet. Trying to use the market to get up. I've just about got my resources. So for the moment, raid from me stopped. I've more or less abandoned my starting eco. Sam doesn't know that I'm over here yet, and doesn't know about the wood over here, where I've never refreshed this starting lumber camp. And this is still that first spearman I made, standing over here in defense. But yeah, here we go. How do you like it, bro? I'm gonna put a castle drop on your gold. So it doesn't quite actually range the gold, but we'll be able to shoot down this TC. So late reaction does send some army over, as I'm still streaming even more villagers. I wanted to be damn sure that this castle goes up, sending 21 villagers there to construct it. With the castle up, I'm on my way to the next stage. I think actually what happened here, if I remember it correctly, I had used the market earlier trying to buy my way to get the resources, then realized, oop, I don't have the buildings. So spammed everyone to build a forward castle there, meet that building requirement, and get going up to the next stage, as we've got the castle, shot down the TC, gonna steal Sam's gold now. As again, did not scout the gold over here. I do know about this one, and I'm gonna place a mining camp there now. Gonna send this guy out to collect some relics. And I'm massively ahead in eco at this point, 60 to 35. So Scorpion coming over to try to deny my gold miners. It actually alerts the knights, and the knights are going to take care of that, I think before I even realized what was happening over here. And Sam, still trying to raid, did find my new escape base over here, though mostly raiding with pikemen. I've got hardly any army at this point, 5 to 22. So despite the big eco lead, I'm kind of in a bit of a pickle here, as what is now my main eco is completely idle to the pike raid, as some more Huskarls coming over as well, as I'm still 30 seconds away from the Imperial Age, sending the knights over to get some chip shots in as the TC fire pushes these guys away. So knights do get a kill there. Sam's still ahead in kills, 124 to 117, as he's trebbing down my starting TC. So nothing I can do about this right now. As again, I took his gold over here, and on this side, he's going to make a TC now on my gold. So I'm grabbing +2, now have accepted that I'm going to have to commit into cavalry, as there's enough Huskarls that even in Imp now don't want to commit to Arbalest or Longbow. Don't make any Longbows this game. So still ahead in Eco, 61 to 35. Sam ahead in score though, as he does have more kills. Eco KD did eventually flip after my big raid over here with the Knights, 50 to 34 in Eco KD. And I'm ahead by about 3,000 resources at this point. So my starting TC does go down, Treb continuing to work on the rest of these buildings. Sam just kind of methodically pushing here. Is going to find the relics here in my monastery. Well, relic, just one in there. Another conversion comes in there on the Huskarl. And Monk gets safely into the TC. TC, though, about to go down, as I still have no army to fight this back. Just 7. So I have a Treb out of my own over here, adding in some more production buildings. Finally ready, excuse me, to build up some numbers and try to fight back this push. So at this point, Sam may be wondering why I haven't resigned yet, as he has the score lead and he has completely taken apart my starting base. Although neither of us actually scouted the area on this side of the map. Looking at Sam's point of view, he does know that I have a TC out here, and I similarly have not scouted this area either. We both have pretty much the same pattern here at this point, where we've looked through each other's base but not found what was on the northwest area of the map there. Could have been useful with those minerals. Treb's still inching over this way. He was maybe hesitant to leave the safety of the castle fire, but is now going to send the Treb forward to target my castle. And at this point, I still have the smaller army, but still haven't started to produce something, as I'm spamming some farms underneath my castle fire there. I realized that I've been using the market a lot and decided, you know what, he probably is too. So this is my priority right now, to take down the market. Though as the Treb comes in, grab all my knights and send them to focus the Treb down. I think even sent the villagers there onto the Treb. Weird placement of that though, as that Treb was actually underneath the range of my castle. Cavalier on the way for me now, as I've got +2 and +2 from the blacksmith on the cavalry. Not a lot of blacksmith upgrades for blue, still just +1 at the most on a number of categories there, as Sam's sending a bunch of villagers out this way to take what was my starting stone, as he has exhausted the stone. Well, not exhausted even, he's got this stone at the back of his base. I guess I'm pressuring in that direction, so this is almost, we have a base trade here, because we got the TC near where my starting TC was, and 2 castles over here, so this probably is the safer stone for him to take, as the Cavalier upgrade for me is in. One more Treb rolling over here for Sam, as we're trying to take each other's castles. My Treb's walking into the enemy army there. A misclick, I think, from both of us, sending the Trebs forward without support, trying to take down each other's castles here. So I'm able to pull the Trebs away. Both of those survive, and I'm going to repair those and dive the Cavalier in on this one. And I'm going to run away. Now, like, nope, not interested in fighting those pikes, bro. I just, thank you for the trebuchet, and I'm out. So, new TC for me on the backside of this wood. And Sam doesn't know that that's there yet. We'll see the farms. That might be a capture rates thing, actually, that the farms pop up like that, because he hasn't been back over here since I started placing those, or he would have seen the TC. And gonna raid on this one again with the pikes. We saw this a few moments before, as I just go full garrison there. I had tried to lead the pikes back towards my castle, and now I'm gonna recommit on the market. Market goes down. Bracer on the way for me, and my TC is gonna go down here also. The villagers ejected, taking enough damage, and I'm just like, whatever. And try to Vilfight here. Bad decision from me to Vilfight this army. Even repairing the TC, that might have been a misclick. Just trying to target the villagers onto the army here. Monks and crossbows coming over here, though, should have a better chance at cleaning this up, as another conversion does come in now. So TC is actually going to stand, and Sam's going to pull back here now as I've brought some army over. The Cavalier still trying to find any damage that they can on this side. How is that down, but I don't see it in my point of view? That's weird. Anyway, there we go with our GG. Sam calls it there after the unsuccessful attempt at taking down the TC with the pikemen. Let's take a look at our final stats here. So Sam actually finishing the game ahead in kills, 151 to 147, and actually took down more buildings. So more kills and more buildings raised for my opponent here. 14 conversions, though, with the monks. I made quite a lot of monks, though, so still kind of barely worth it in that regard. And Sam neither of us actually able to mass up a pretty big army, as we're both taking damage in our eco throughout the duration of the game. The total amount of units produced, though, 118 to 115. So by the end there, I did manage to grab a substantial resource lead, 37,000 to 29,000. That did flip or get close a couple times throughout the earlier phases of the game. A bit more villagers, 73 to 65 there. And I only ever built the one castle. Sam did have the two. And looking at APM here, Sam actually faster. So the mean total EAPM here, 29 to 25, which is pretty typical for me to be around 25 to 30 in this area. A lot of top 100 controller players in the same kind of ballpark, mid-20s, mid-30s, with the exception of Zodico is super fast. It's typically in the 50s for EAPM. In a future video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how speed on controller compares to keyboard and mouse, and the efficiency of some of the different shortcuts, or how the hotkeys are different, and how that affects the experience and the meta on the different ladders. But that's going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at a console game analyzed here in Capture Age, and I'll see you again soon.